All right, welcome to this, I guess I'll call it a scouting report, where I'm going to cover gameplay of the new game Second Front and how it compares to Advanced Squad Leader. And I must say, after playing a few scenarios, the comparison is quite close. There are a few differences that I'll go over as we jump into one of the easy scenarios to play. And then I'll give you a tour of the game. I won't really jump into the scenario editor because I haven't played with it. The game just came out this morning, and I've only had a chance to play a few scenarios, like I said. Um, there'll be two parts to this. First, I'll do a tour of the game, of what it looks like, um, the menus, the options, the Steam workshop where you can download homemade scenarios. And then we'll jump into a scenario and play. Probably won't play the whole thing. I don't want the video to be really long. I'll either show you highlights, or we'll just play it through the first part of it, and I'll show you how the mechanics of the game can play compared to ASL. But first, if you want to buy the game, let me pop up Steam here. Um, there's only one place you can play it, as far as I know, and that is on Steam. Here you can see my big game library. Maybe small compared to some people. Those of you who play computer games know what Steam is. It's basically a digital content delivery system for games. You have an account, you buy a game, it downloads it and installs it on your computer. If you want more information, just Google Steam and read about it if you're interested. But it's available now, and let me go to the store page here. Here's the main store page. Um, It's on sale now for $29.74, and it's actually a really good price because I think you get 48 scenarios. What's it say here? Yeah, 48 scenarios, 40 types of infantry, and 216 types of tanks, vehicles, and guns that cover American, Russian, and German orders of battle. And the scenarios cover those three combatants. Obviously, depending on how well the game does, they'll add more nationalities, more theaters, perhaps Pacific Theater down the road, etc. And there are basically lots of rule sets here, like you see one of these screenshots here. I haven't gotten to this scenario, but they have beach landings, as you can see here. So a lot of options in the game. Anyway, let's jump back to Second Front, and I'll step you through here. So workshop. Let's look at the workshop real quick. So as I said, the game comes with 48 scenarios. I've played 4 or 5 of them. Um, there's also a workshop, which people who use the scenario editor, which it comes with, and I'm not going to jump into. Maybe I'll do a separate editor or separate video for that once I figure out the scenario editor, because I haven't fiddled with it. But it allows you to custom make your own scenarios, and I think the scenarios can be 50 something by 50 something hexes in size, which is equal to about 5 geoboards by 1.5 in width. So pretty big map areas that you can make scenarios of. And then once you create them, you can upload them to the Steam workshop. And if you come in here and click on the workshop, you can see it loads it up, and it loads the scenarios that are available in the Steam workshop. Right now, the game just launched, so there's, I don't know, 30 scenarios already. Someone did Kelly's Hero, and if you want to play it, you can click on it and get more information. Oh, that's for scores submitted. I guess you click on the plus button. I haven't downloaded any yet, but you can download it and basically play it. Now, the quality of these scenarios is probably going to be hit and miss, right? These are designed by and edited by players and fans of the game, perhaps even fans and players of ASL. In fact, I would predict you're going to see a lot of ASL especially the classic ASL scenarios, edited by players who play both and uploaded to the Steam Workshop to be shared by everybody. Is this going to introduce any copyright problems with Hasbro? I don't know. That's not for me to worry about. That's for other people to worry about. All I know is there's a lot of possibilities to make this game quite large and popular for people who like tactical wargaming. Okay, so that's a Steam Workshop, which should open up the game quite a bit, in addition to the 48 scenarios that it comes with. Play my scenario, edit map. So this is all the creation area. Play, edit your scenario, edit campaign. The garage is a cool thing. So you click on the garage, and you can look at all the different nationalities of vehicles and guns in the game. So right now I've got German selected. So if I want to look at tanks, it's clicked on tanks. This must be self-propelled guns or something. Yeah, or assault guns, or both. Half tracks, armored cars, trucks, and guns. And each nationality basically has the same thing. So if we look at the Germans, click on tanks. You can also sort by, if you click this little up arrow, you can sort by year. So if I want late war vehicles only, I can click, I can move the slider. Let's say I want to look at a Tiger, one of the Tiger variants here. This is a King Tiger. Is there King Tiger? Tiger E. And it puts up all the stats here. It shows you a little legend of what all the things are. And then you can do things like you can animate it. So you can show how it might move in the game. You can button them up, elevation, declination of the main armament, rotate the turret, what it looks like with mounted passengers, and then you can rotate the vehicle like this. Now, the other cool thing is if you want to do a comparison of, say, an American tank versus this German tank. So if we pick Americans and let's go to late war, which it's on. It's the 44, and pick Sherman, one of these variants, and it'll put up a side-by-side comparison of basically all the stats for the Sherman on the left, all the stats for the Tiger on the right, and then here in the middle, it'll show armor piercing percentage chances basically based on where the hit occurs, whether it's turret front, hull side, etc. It'll show you basically a one-to-one comparison of the vehicle capabilities. And there's a slider down here. You can slide it to show you what the effects of range are. Now you may notice that the range here are the exact ranges on the basic 2 kill chart for ASL. They're exactly the same. This is no coincidence. And if you look at let's just look at the Tiger here. So it has turret armor ratings around the top. It shows little shields for armor, and hull ratings on the bottom. So front, side, rear. Side and rear, typically in ASL, they have the same armor value. In this, they're slightly different values. Then you have things like anti-aircraft machine gun firepower 253. This is the breakdown chance 1%. 88 millimeter L, so it's basically a long barrel, 88L. This is the reload percentage, which is analogous to rate of fire in ASL. So 17% is basically a 1 out of 6. So it has a rate of fire. If you rolled a 1 on the color die, you would get another shot. So 1 out of 6 is 16.67%. So basically 17%. Has target size. One green circle means it's a small target. 2 green circles means extra small. If it's got a red target, see if we can find one with a red circle. Yeah, here's a red here. Oh, I'm sorry. That's a big green circle. That means it's green is large. Red is small. I have that backwards. So what do we have here? We have the M5A1. Okay, so this is a small target. The Tiger is a extra large target, so it'd be a -2 modifier to hit. Um, it's got its movement points here. Um, yeah, the gun. And right now, I guess that just means status indicator is that he is crew exposed. If I button him up, that might go away. It doesn't. But that underneath that, I guess you can see it down here better. See it over here better. Not sure why that icon is still displayed there. But over here, there's a smoke dispenser underneath there. Here, there's a smoke dispenser, 28% chance. Maybe that's equivalent to a SD5 or something, 28%. So the stats on the tanks are almost 100% identical to the stats you would see on an ASL counter. There's this 85%, 83%. I think that's special ammo. Maybe that's heat. I don't have the icons memorized. But basically that's ammo depletion, special ammo depletion. But I can't remember what ammo that might be. So that's the garage. So you can compare. I mean, you can see how a gun will do against a vehicle, etc. Okay. And if you there's click down here, it's got some historical information about vehicles and guns and jeeps or whatever. Okay. I think you can change the view. Yeah, you can zoom in on one or the other. So this isn't like a garage where you can like customize things. It's just a comparison and information place to look at the vehicles you might use either when playing a scenario or when designing a scenario. Not a real fan of that loading screen. It does it each time you pop in and out of the garage. Options, not many options in the game. Got some audio options, graphics, low, medium, high. I don't think this is very graphical intensive. In fact, I don't think you need that powerful of a computer to run this game. And interface, you can basically change interface size, screen resolution, etc. Not a lot of options. Okay, let's go. That's it for a tour. As you can see, I've played a few of these scenarios. So as I mentioned before, there are just the three major European theater combatants are included in this initial release: the Germans, the Russians, and the Americans. So you pick the side you want to play as. There is no multiplayer in this, or no playing against another person, either peer to peer or via a server. It's all you versus the computer versus AI. So you pick the side you want to play, then you pick who you want to play against. So I want to play the Germans versus the Russians or versus the Americans. Or I want to play the Russians, and there's no sub tab because they're only fighting against the Germans in these three nationalities. Same with the Americans; they're only fighting against the Germans in this case. Now, if they add more nationalities, they might add sub tabs on here. Like if you pick American, maybe you get maybe there's a Marine Corps option against Japanese or American versus Italian or what have you. Um, let's see. I'd like to pick a scenario with. I probably want to pick one that I do want to pick one that I think that I play, but I also want to get a vehicle in there. I haven't really messed with tanks. Let's just pick. Let's just pick. This one was pretty basic. Three houses. Difficulty easy. Basically, you have to capture three houses. And if you click on the forces, it'll show you the forces that are involved. They give you a little spiel like we have on our ASL scenario cards. And it'll show you that the Germans have these units, and the Americans have these units. So they have Germans have a half track, coming in on turn 6. Well, they start with basically a platoon and a leader, and then another platoon comes in on turn 5, and then a half track with some squads coming in on turn 6. The Americans have 3 leaders, a platoon, 3 squads, and then they have 2 squads coming in on turn 5 on a certain part of the board. And then over here we've got, I think this is called fatigue. I think it's loosely related to ELR, experience level rating in ASL. And then next to that we have ammo. I think it's ammo, and I'm not sure how this relates into the mechanics. It may relate to whether you get your rate of fire chances or not. Some of the stuff is hidden behind the curtain, right? ASL, everything is in the open. You know all the rules, you know all the mechanics. A lot of the stuff here is hidden behind the curtains. But I think fatigue is related to ELR, and I think ammo might be related to your rate of fire chance. It might make some adjustment based on the ammo setting for the scenario. And then go to the description, and there is a little more information. And you can see here, I've played it and was victorious. And I must say, if you have experience playing ASL, you're going to find these intro scenarios fairly straightforward. Someone who's never played a tactical World War II game or ASL is probably going to find the learning curve fairly steep and the game a bit confusing. But those who have an ASL background should pick it up really quickly and shouldn't have too much problem with at least the initial scenarios, which I haven't had yet. Obviously, if we get into some of these other ones that are, have more difficulty, it's probably going to be more challenging to do. So let's jump into Three Houses and see how the gameplay actually is. So you just click play. There is no difficulty settings in the game. Even in the main menu, you can't change it from easy to hard. The difficulty is what it is. There's no option to change that. July 5th, 44, month after Normandy. Okay, here's the map. So you can zoom in, you can zoom all the way out and kind of make it a traditional, hex-based map. And you can pan around. And once you get into a certain zoom level, it'll go 3D. It's about right there. There are some people that are asking if you can lock the 2D view down, so it's more like a traditional hex encounter type game, and you can zoom in without it going into 3D mode. So if we zoom in all the way to 3D, you can zoom all the way into your guys here, and we've got our German squads here. Excuse me. You can pan around as you zoom in, or you can zoom out, and you can rotate it. Let me zoom out here. So you can see the German reinforcements are going to be coming on here. I think if you click on it, it'll tell you. Yeah, if you click on the little reinforcement area where they're coming in, it'll tell you what's arriving and when. So turn 5 and turn 6, and the Americans here, and what you're going to get. The Americans over here, 2 squads on turn 5, over on the right here. Okay. Now, one thing I've noticed, the information up here. So I have not messed with this. This is, oh, okay, yeah, I see. I have not used that yet. So this is basically a line of sight tool. As we know in ASL, you can't check line of sight until you fire, or you do something like fire the coax on your machine gun to check line of sight before you make a shot with your main armament, right? This game, apparently you can check line of sight. Just click the binoculars, put the cursor where you want to check line of sight from, and it'll show you all the hexes that can be seen from that hex. So these guys here, anything in green that's highlighted, they can see. Okay. like these guys can see up on the hill, kind of. That's what that's for. Uh, German. This is I think you can retire the scenario. This is just help, give you general help information, phases, icons, information. Okay, which is very handy as you're learning the system. Uh, Rotate the map. There are keys that can do that in the keyboard. I haven't used this. This is to show cycle through building floors. If you hit tab, so if we zoom in here, hit tab, you can see these Americans are all on the first floor. There's 2 floors, it looks like here, but they're on the first floor. And then this shows you basically what phase you're in and who's who owns that part of the phase. Now I wish that it had the system uses an I go you go like ASL does, right? There are 2 turns for each player turn, and one side gets to move during their player turn, the other side gets to move during their player turn, and then one turn is over. I wish it would tell you kind of which player turn you are on. It doesn't do that. You kind of have to just figure it out from if you have a fire and move phase, it's your turn. Because you don't have a fire and move phase if it's the other player's turn. It's something you get used to. I've already gotten used to it, kind of playing through the few scenarios, but I wish there was kind of a visual indicator here. Victory points. Most of the scenarios are by getting victory points, and that's usually, from what I can tell, capturing things or exiting things, or maybe a combination of the two. You can't. There's not a lot of, at least at this point, there's not a lot of availability to have really complicated type of victory conditions. Maybe they'll add a little more complexity, but right now it's mainly victory points via capturing and exiting type of things. Then here, this little thermometer shows you basically the environmental temperature in essence. And I think that does come into play because there are environmental conditions. I played a scenario this morning. Half track got taken out by a bazooka. Half track, the kill must have been good enough because the half track went into a blaze of fire, and it sat there and burned for a couple turns. And then next thing I know, I think it was burning in a woods or birch orchard, and then the birch orchard burst into flame next to a building, and the scenario ended, but I'm pretty sure that would have spread to the building next to it eventually. And then smoke drifted in a certain direction. I don't think there's a wind thing on here that I've noticed, but when the birch orchard started on fire, there were 2 smoke hexes, I guess downwind, whichever direction that was in the scenario, that gave me some cover as I maneuvered. So there are environmental impacts in this. You can set things on fire when you blow things up, and I think the fires will spread. I think that the environmental temperature, comes into play from that as well. I think that is it. This is basically advance to the next phase. So when you're done doing whatever you can do in each phase, you advance to the next phase, and it's usually the computer will do something. And then once it's done, you do something else, right? It's pretty intuitive, pretty easy to do. So, all right, let's just jump into this. Uh, we have to capture these 3 buildings here, and we get a half track turn 6, reinforcements turn 5. Okay, so we have four turns to do this before we start getting some reinforcements. Now, if you click on your units down here, it'll tell you what they are down in the lower right, or highlight up in the upper left if you just put your cursor on it. Okay, never noticed that. It kind of puts it in both places. So we've got a squad there, squad there, squad there, squad, and Corporal Schmidt there. Let's where was the help? Let's look at the infantry real quick. So the this is what a infantry counter looks like. That'll show up in the lower right corner or the upper left. Basically, you've got firepower. Whether they're a submachine gun squad, which means you get a bonus if you fire after you move, basically like assault fire, morale level. Now there's gonna it's gonna show you several of these like chevron type things. I think the first one is like a nationality's base morale, like a might be a 6 or a 7 for a squad, and for a leader, that base morale is probably a 7. Then each one below that, I mean, this is what I'm assuming, is going to add 1 to his morale. So this guy is basically a morale, I believe, is a morale 10, and his leadership rating ASL equivalent is a -2. So this guy's like a 10 -2. This squad is probably a morale of 7, 6 movement points. That's maximum with double time. Quality, range. I think that's maximum range. Um, yeah, normal aiming, uh, 2 to 6. So its normal range would be 6, and its max range is double that, up to 12, and a firepower is 6. So this guy is probably a 6.67 American, or maybe a 6.66. Um, this tells you, oh yeah, so moving reduces available firepower. So that's the thing with this is in squad leader, there ASL there are 3 distinct phases. There's uh, prep fire phase, movement phase, and defensive fire phase. Right. This game basically combines all 3 of those into one phase. So if you fire, it's called fire and movement phase. If you fire, you can't move. If you move, you can fire, and you can see here moving reduces available firepower. Basically cuts it in half, which is like area fire in ASL. Um, so you can fire after you move, but as soon as you fire, you can't move any further. Now you can move, like if I take this unit here and move him, you can see where he can possibly move. Okay, and the red arrow just to the right, upper right of my cursor, there's a running guy with a red arrow, and then there's a regular guy with a white arrow. That means, let me say I'm going to move here. I right click there, and if I pick this one, that means run, basically double time. If I pick here, that means walk. That's normal movement. But I don't want to do that. But say I want to move this guy, but I don't like the way that movement is. I want to get there by a different route. You can click just one. You can crawl. It's the same as assault movement. Move 1 hex. Let's say I move there. I can keep moving now, so you can move like 1 hex at a time. But I could also fire if I had something in my line of sight. But if I do fire, they're done moving. Or I can keep moving. So I can move to here. Okay, now I can see these guys here. And for some reason it won't let me fire. I'm pretty sure I can see them. Let me just move here. It still won't let me fire. It says I've moved, so my firepower's half. Oh, there's a hedge here. Yeah. That's why I can't see them. So there's a hedge here blocking line of sight. Obviously, not used to the visual transferring from 3D computer into my ASL brain at this point. Okay, but you can see you can move them, either accept what the computer thinks how you want to move, or you can just move 1 hex at a time or 2 at a time and kind of work your way the way you want to go. But anytime along there, I could stop and fire, but as soon as I fire, I have to stop. I can't move anymore after that. So let me just move these guys. Kind of have this hedge here protecting me. I'm just going to move up, and then I'm going to advance. This guy's going to have to double time to get there, which is going to make them even less effective when they fire. This guy, this is a leader. If I get broken, someone's going to have to route. So let's just move the leader. So I picked that hex. It's got a leader and a squad. If I want to just move one of them, I just pick that one, and then I move him. Now he's probably going to get fired on here, because there should be a line of sight here. Let's see what happens. He'll just move normally. Yep. You can see they took a shot and they missed. Okay. Let's move the squad. There are no multi-hex fire groups in this game, which is unfortunate. To get a fire group, you basically have to stack, which I hope they change that because it can cause major problems. Obviously, you stack a bunch of units in a hex and you get blown up. It could decide a scenario depending on the size of the scenario. So there's no real need to get guys adjacent to each other because you can't form fire groups. So keeping them spread out is fine. Stacking them is going to be your call. So I'm not going to stack these guys. I'm just going to move. Actually, I'm going to move over here. I'm going to move over here. It's going to have to double time. Um, this means he's basically moving. He's going to move through enemy line of sight, and he might get shot at. This is double time over there. These guys subsequent first fire. Oh, they broke these guys. The double exclamation point means in the upper left up there on my screen, you can see that they're broken. That's what the double exclamation point stands for. And these guys are they should be what we would call subsequent first fire. They've fired twice now. So let's see if that holds true. Let me move right over here and see if they fire at me again. They shouldn't be able to if this follows ASL rules. Nah, they didn't. Okay. So it still follows pretty much ASL rules. My leader moved here. They first fired. These guys moved here. They had a line of sight. They subsequent first fired. Basically, that locks them out at that point. So I moved in close there. And that's all I had to move. So I can't move. I guess I could fire. These guys broke. Leader couldn't do anything. These guys don't have line of sight. So, but this guy, he double timed. He has line of sight. He basically has wall advantage. There is no wall advantage in this, but he's behind the hedge, so he can shoot. So you can see the kind of bullseye when I put my cursor over that. So you right click on it, and you can see. Then you can usually there's different options here. All there is here is a fire, and normally it gives you a percent. It's probably 0%. It'll show you different percentages of results that might happen. So there's a leader in there, and there's a squad. So let me just fire. I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, nothing. Didn't figure anything would happen, and that's all I can do, really. I could keep moving my leader, but I'm gonna leave him there. So let's hit the advance button. Now the Americans are doing something. The escape phase, which is happening now, is basically the rout phase, and you have no control over the rout phase. I think the way it works is it loosely follows ASL rules. In other words, they route away from enemy units towards buildings, woods, or I think a trench as well. And if there's a leader they can get to, I think they will try to get to a leader. So it mostly follows ASL rules, but you don't have any control over routing. The computer does it for you automatically. And if you think about it, the route rules in ASL are similar. There's a step-by-step process you kind of have to follow. A lot of time you don't have a choice on where your units route in ASL, and I think they just put that into the hands of basically the programming here, and they do it for you. So now we're in the advanced phase. Advanced phase is just like classic ASL. You can move one hex. You just pick your unit, right-click where you want to go, hit the advance. I'm going to leave this guy here behind the hedge, and we'll leave the leader there with the broken unit in the woods. Hopefully they'll get rallied here. Then we hit the next phase. Melee phase is close combat, and now it's going to be the Americans' turn. They tried to rally the German unit there, the leader did, and failed. There is some form of desperation morale. I don't know what it's called, but it's harder to rally the first turn that you're broken. Oh, they got broken again. They killed something. What happened? I didn't see. Broken. Oh, it must have reduced. Maybe they reduced the squad that was in there with the leader. I think they got reduced, and the leader got broken. Corporal Schmidt. That was the American movement. Firing movement. They didn't move. They just fired at me. These American units up here are just sit and put for now. Now it's called fire phase up here, but since it's the Americans' turn, that would be what we would call defensive fire phase. So I get to fire back. The other thing about this game is your defensive fire. against moving targets, you have no control over that. So if the Americans would have moved, say these Americans would have bugged out and ran back here, my guys would have taken a shot as they ran back automatically. The computer would have done that. I'm a little disappointed in that because it takes some of the control out of you as a player. But I kind of understand the why they did it because it speeds up the gameplay. Because if as they ran back, you're probably going to take that shot anyway. Most of the time it's an obvious shot. These guys run back. Yes, I'm going to take a shot. So they just have the computer do it for you. Now, if you have units that can still fire during this fire phase, which is what I would call the final fire phase, these guys highlighted in blue, I still have control over that. So you still have control over in the game what would be defensive final fire, which is where we are now. So I can fire all of these guys here. Now, like I said, you can't in ASL you'd be able to fire a group these guys. You can't do that, at least not yet. I don't know why, but you have to fire these separately or stack them in the same hex. So let's fire these guys. We just pick them, pick the target, right click, and you can see they're in a stone building. This shows the top shows me, my unit, the Germans. Shows that they ran, so that reduces my effectiveness, analogous to counter exhaustion. And I'm shooting at a stone building, which is basically it shows 3 little houses here. That effectively means to me +3 modifier straight from ASL. Um, so I'm firing at a American, there's an American leader and an American squad in there. What this shows is a percentage of something happening. Usually there's more listed than this, but in this case, the best I can get apparently is a pin. The exclamation point is a pin. Let's see if that is it under results. Actions. Yeah, it's. It, I believe it's a pin chance. Maybe if I highlight it here. No. So there's a 3% chance to pin the leader, 4% chance to pin the squad. So you just click on that and they'll fire. Yeah, no. Now if I had like a bazooka or a Panzerschreck or a machine gun, you can fire the machine gun separately, or you can combine it with your unit. Let's fire these guys. Same thing. Okay, this is a little different. We've got a 3% chance. This is the leader. 3% to pin him, a 3% chance to break, and a 4% chance on the squad. I don't know why they're different. And maybe because their morale is slightly different. So basically, a very slim chance to get any result. These guys did not run from at least from the stats here, but it is what I would call. No, this is defensive fire. Yeah, they didn't move. These guys are basically CX. These guys are not, but slim chance. Nothing. And these guys will fire. Same. They ran. Same chance. No chance to break. Just a chance to pin, which is not going to help us here anyway. And then these guys are all broken. They can't do anything. We go to the next phase, which is the route phase. Now these guys here might stay there. No, they routed back. It should be the Americans' advanced phase. Are probably not going to do anything. You can see the AI moving around. It should be my turn. Tried to rally. They were probably under what would be DM. Exclamation point went from 2 to 1. That has some sort of meaning. I'm not sure exactly what it is. I'm sure it's sort of like a DM type thing. So it's not now my move and fire. I'm going to try to get into close combat here. Let's see which unit has the best chance to get a result. 4%, because they're still considered to have moved. Nope. 4%. Yeah, let's just bum rush this. Let's not fire. Let's just assault move basically, or crawl in this case. Here, and they're going to take some fire. They broke. These guys are going to do the same. See if we can get into close combat. I think that means they passed a morale check, I believe. And these guys are going to... Same thing. There is no residual in this game as far as I can recall. Or see. There's no indicator that there's residual, but they should subsequent. First fire? No. But I can fire. I moved, so I can fire. So let me fire here. See if I can get lucky. No. Fire here. No, these guys are broken. They can't do anything. They're broken. Next turn. Next phase. We're still only on turn 2. I should be able to advance these guys in because these Americans all fired. They're routing back. And I believe there is interdiction. In this case, they weren't interdicted because they were here, hopped over here. They weren't moving in open ground, so they were the route back. So I think I played a scenario earlier, and I had some guys get interdicted. So I think there is sort of an interdiction mechanic in this as well. But again, you have no control on where they route. They just routed back to here. Okay, now we're in the advanced phase. We're gonna jump into close combat. So you just right-click on the unit and highlight where you want to go, and then I'm going to advance in and I'll show you the close combat chances. So there's a 17, basically a 1 in 6 chance that each side ambushes. And then the close combat. For just that unit, I'm going to get another squad in there, so the chances should go up. So let's just advance in here. These guys, you can see the odds switched over into my favor. It's about 50-50, but I'm going to do it anyway. For the Germans, 2 squads against a leader and their squad. I can't remember what quality leader they have in there. Can I highlight it and tell? 1 star. Or 1 gray star. I think it's probably like an 8-8-0. Infantry. Yeah, I think a gray star means there's no leader bonus. So I think there's probably an 8-0 leader in there. So the analogous ASL would be probably like a, not a 2, it's probably like a 1-1 for the Germans and a 1-2 for the Americans. That's probably what I'm seeing here, but I'm not exactly sure. So let's go in there and see what happens. Well, I can't move these guys. That's it. So I just hit the next phase, and we're in the melee phase, and it does some math. And you'll probably see some stuff popping out. Oh, I got screwed. Those guys rallied. They won close combat. They eliminated my guys. Ouch. I lost 5 victory points. Yeah, that's pretty rough. But it shows the mechanic. I showed a bunch of mechanics where I showed move, fire, advance, and close combat. Okay. I think I might cut here and go to a scenario that has a vehicle in it. So let's do that and we'll come back. Okay, let's take a look at this scenario. I have not played this scenario yet. It is called Find the Gun. It has a Stug 3 for the on the German side and a 57 L anti-tank gun on the American side with some squads as well. Another thing I wanted to mention, the game has snipers. Here's one here. Um, snipers in Second Front are more analogous to snipers from the original Squad Leader, where it's an actual unit on the board that had a firepower and could target other units. Um, the snipers in Second Front are not like ASL, which are sort of these nebulous, ambiguous things that you don't really control, and they can strike anywhere depending on the basically luck of the die. In this, it's actually a counter that you can use to attack units. So in this case, it's actually a little bit more like the original squad leader than ASL, but snipers do exist. Okay, what was it? Yeah, we're gonna do find the gun. Let's try this because it's got some guns in it. And I haven't played with guns yet, so let's see how this goes. June 19th, 44, near Le Mans, France. I hope people find this informative because this is it's not 100% ASL, but it's damn near close. It is very close. There were some concessions that needed to be made to make gameplay a little more peppy, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Who goes first? Germans go first. So let's see. Is the gun? Gun's got to be hidden somewhere. Oh, where's the scenario? Scenario. Yeah, let's be hidden. Where would I hide a gun? Well, probably here. Maybe in here. Looks like we have to take this building here. So let's just start moving some stuff. Uh, well, let's see. Yeah, this is double time. Sorry, run. Let's run these guys. Check the line of sight thing. This is a little, feels like I'm cheating, checking line of sight from here to see what they can see. They're probably out of range. Yeah, I'm a cheater. What are these guys here? Crew. Oh, crew. Hmm. It's a random crew? Yeah. Huh. Okay. Just a random crew. Cannon fodder. Oh, I found the gun. I okay. Me, if I were a player and I knew the order of battle, I knew a Stug was going to be rolling up the road here, I would not have wasted a shot on a crew just running across the field. So the AI may need a little work here. I would not have taken that shot as the American player. So now I know where the gun is. Let's keep moving these guys, and I'll bring in the Stug. Guess I used the crew to good effectiveness there. Flushed them out. Remember, stacking doesn't do you any good here. I mean, sorry, being adjacent, hex is adjacent doesn't do any good. You have to stack to get fire groups. Okay, let's. Did it get rate of fire? Has a 50% chance if you look up there. That's basically a 3 and 6 on the color die in ASL, which is what a 57L has in the game. So it's exactly the same as ASL. Does it have rate of fire? I don't know if it maintain. I don't know if there's a way to tell if it maintained rate of fire. Maybe. I don't know if there's an indicator. We'll find out. I'm gonna roll this Stug up the road. Highlight it. He's crew exposed. I'm okay with that. I'm still quite a ways away from this infantry here. Can I button him up halfway? Let me move him. Oh, okay. So when you move the vehicle, you can see the different hex spines. That's basically the covered arc you want um, in that ending hex. Let's say we move here. Then these are the different options. So you can close the hatch. I think you can close the button up anytime. This is fire smoke. This is move, just move to that point. This is move and stop. And right below it, it'll tell you how many movement points or movement factors. I'm not sure what the terminology is in Second Front. How much it'll take to get you there. So firing smoke, going there and firing smoke will cost you 9. I think you can button. Let me just move up the road here. Like, let me move to here. Oop. Let me just move to there. And then there are other things you can do. You can turn your engine off, which is equivalent to stop in ASL. Let's see if I can button up. Can I keep moving? Yeah, I can keep moving. Can I crew expose? Yeah. Okay, that's different. Apparently in this game you can CE and button up anytime you want, as much as you want. In ASL, you can only do it once per phase, right? So you could go crew exposed during your movement phase, and then in the advanced phase, you could go back button up. You can't do it multiple times in one phase, but in Second Front, you can do it willy-nilly, apparently. Um, Let me try to fire. I'm going to move up here. Where's the gun? The gun is there. I'm going to, for the heck of it, I'm going to move up to here, and I'm going to try to do smoke. Oh, no, that's fire smoke. Does it have? Yeah, it has smoke discharges. How do you do that? Maybe you have to get there. Oh, there it is. Okay, you can only do it once you get there. So let me go up here, move up to here. I'll move and now I'll move to. I'm gonna move to there. Covered arc that way. Now let's move to here. I'm gonna move to there and stop. Oh, he's gonna fire. It's highlighted red. Nope. Now I'm going to, for the heck of it, I am going to try to. So you can see I moved there and stopped. So my engine is off, which means if I fire, it's going to be easier to hit. As opposed ASL, if you're still moving, you're basically, depending on the phase, you're either in motion or non-stopped in this case. But I am stopped here. I'm going to fire my smoke discharger and see what happens, or smoke dispenser in this case. Fire. Nope, didn't get it. Let's see if I can fire. Can I fire? Yeah, okay. So I moved, I stopped. I'm going to try to fire, and let's see if I can figure out how to do different ammo. Oh, I think I got it here. So I'm going to fire at the gun, right click. I can do anti-aircraft machine gun. I can fire smoke at it, 8%. I can fire HE, or I can fire. Okay, I'm trying to figure out the difference here. Fire HE unaimed. Oh, is that unaimed? Is that like area target type in ASL? Fire HE on infantry. Interesting. I'm not sure what the difference is. I'm going to fire the anti-aircraft first, see what happens. Probably, apparently nothing. I'm going to fire HE on the infantry. Then I'll fire smoke. Then I'll fire HE. Yeah, 0%. Ah, hell. I think I'll get acquisition. I don't know what it's called in this game, but there is acquisition. Boom, missed. Okay. Did I get rid of fire? I don't think so. No. So, okay, I moved everything. I don't know how you tell if you got or if there's an acquisition. Maybe I can tell next turn. Okay, let's just go to the next turn. I moved everything. We're learning together how to play Second Front. Pretty cool game. I like it. Escape phase, route phase, there's nothing to route. I think it's American. He's going to fire. Oh, no, sorry. I get to advance. Advance all my guys. Let me rotate this a little bit so I can see where I'm going. Let's go here. Not sure if there's height advantage in the game. That's it. Of course, you can't advance vehicles, just infantry. So that should be it. Let's see what the gun does to me this turn. Recovery phase, rally. Recovery is basically the rally phase. You can see that, the temperature in this scenario is lower. Should be nobody to rally. Okay, let's see. He's going to fire. Yep, fire. Missed. Oh yeah, okay. I saw an down here. I saw an acquisition type of logo. These guys are firing long range. Nothing. My turn. Click. Do I have acquisition? I can't tell. Oh yeah, I do. Okay. There it is. Fired on this hex one time. Good aiming. Basically, -1 acquisition. Firing with closed hatch. Poor aiming. So I buttoned up. If I was crew exposed, I wouldn't get the +1 penalty. I assume it's +1 in the same case. 57 L is a small target, and it's emplaced in sandbags, so it's basically emplaced. I need a. Let's see. What do I need? Maybe I'll try fire smoke at it. Yeah, let's try fire. No, let's do the anti-aircraft. No, I have to fire. I don't know how smoke works in this game. Can I fire smoke? Let me fire some of this infantry. ASL, you have to fire smoke very first thing to keep something like this from happening. From all your units firing on something to get an effect and then laying smoke on it so that unit has a penalty of the smoke being in its face later on. So let me try to fire and see if I can fire smoke. I'm going to fire these guys on here. Defensive fire. Or no, it's prep fire basically. Missed. Okay, let's try to fire smoke on them. Yeah, I can fire smoke. So that's a difference in this game too. Yep, smoked them out. Cool. You can see the smoke there. Oh, look at that. I didn't notice that. Zoom in. See, it's nice and placed in the woods. Pretty cool. My rotation keys, I haven't got them figured out yet. Okay, he fired. I fired my anti-aircraft. I probably should have done it first. Because now I'll probably have to pay the smoke penalty. Let's fire these guys. Let's see, it's my... Maybe... No, these guys, I'm going to move... Oh no, it's my defensive fire phase, that's right. So this is why I wish there was a way to tell which player turn it was. I don't have the feel for that yet. These guys are entrenched. I'm at long range. I'll fire at the guys in the trench. Probably got a better chance. Yeah, slightly better, not much better. I think that leadership thing popped up. I'm not sure what that means. Just that there's a leader there. These guys can't see anything. These guys fired at them. Oop, zoomed way out. How about these guys? Can they? No. Maybe it's out of range. I can see them, but it's too far, I guess. I can't. Yeah. That's it for my defensive fire. Escape phase, route, nothing to route. American advance. Let's see if they're going to move some guys around. Yeah. They're bugging out of the trench, running into the building. My turn 2. I'm gonna bring my tank up the road here. Let's crew exposed. Let's bring them up here. See if this gun fires. It'll probably hit me now that I smoked them out. It'll probably hit me right in the side and blow me up. This isn't necessarily the best thing to do tactically. I'm just doing it to see what happens. Let's fire. Looks like we have a better chance to get the guys. Yeah, there's guys on the first and second floor here. You can see as I put the cursor over them. 40%, 59%. Oops. Fire HE unnamed. I'm not sure. Fire HE on infantry. Aiming 0%. I'm not quite sure what's going on with these. I'll have to investigate that a little further. But according to this, there's more of a chance of effect. So I'm going to fire. Can I fire? Oh. Can't I pick the guys upstairs? Maybe there's no like infantry target type. Maybe this is just area. It's gonna affect everything. I don't know. Let me just fire. I'm just gonna fire this. See what happens. Oh, it said gun reloaded. That means I got rate of fire apparently. So let me fire again. Missed. Didn't get rate of fire. No, can't I fire my... Oh, I buttoned up. I can't fire my anti-aircraft gun. Yep. Let's move these guys. So you can see the dynamics of move and fire. You can mix it up. You can do fire and then move and then fire, or mix it up between the two. That's how they've combined the phases here. I'm not going to get anything, but I'll fire at these guys. Now there's a green icon. This green icon means I'm either running to the open or I'm going to take a shot somewhere. Let me see what happens here. Or I'm running through someone's line of sight. No, they didn't take a shot. This is going to be tricky here. I need to maybe wait. I should have tried to smoke these guys out. Let me do this. Oh, jeez. See, the computer moved me through the open here when I should have manually done one hex at a time and gone through the woods like this. So watch how the computer is moving you, and you can make your own adjustments. Yeah, that was goofy. Oof. Broken. This assault move to there. Fire. that's it. I'll probably play one more turn, then we'll call this video good. I don't know how long. Oh, he fired gun. He got ready to fire. We got ready to fire again. Oh god. He smoked my stug. No. I don't know if the game has crew survival. I didn't notice when it got blown up if it did any sort of crew survival thing. You can see the drifting smoke here. So the wind. Oh, that must be the wind. There it is. The wind direction. Never noticed that before. Okay, north arrow, wind direction. So burning wreck created smoke. 2x's down. I don't know why this smoke isn't drifting and just this smoke appears to be drifting. Because if I highlight the hex here, in the upper right up there, just below the next phase button, it'll show you it's clear hex and two hindrances. So it's like a +2 smoke. I don't know why this one isn't drifting though, but this is. I was gonna play one more turn to see if I could get smoke on the building, but I think I'm gonna call it here. Like I said, I'm not doing the best things tactically here. Just trying to show. Well, this is the first time I've actually played with a tank, so kind of learning as we go. But not the best tactical decisions probably here. I think I'm gonna call it there, but I think next video maybe I'll fiddle around with the editor some and do a video of how the editor works, or how you bring in a homemade scenario from the Steam workshop and what that looks like. So I'm gonna call that a wrap here for Second Front. As you can see, there are some differences from Squad Leader from ASL. They're fairly minor, and I think they're there to help speed up gameplay, specifically the move and fire phase, combining basically movement or prep fire, movement, and defensive fire. The computer doing your defensive first fire for you at least to help speed things up. That could cause some issues with those die-hard players that like to make every decision for yourself, but I think most of the time it's probably going to fire when you probably would have fired to, and it does speed up the game quite a bit because if the game stopped or if you stepped through every time it moved a hex to see if you wanted to fire at it, it would slow the game down significantly. And I think the developer wanted to keep the thing going at a faster pace than a normal ASL game. And then the other thing is the escape phase, which is ASL routing phase. The AI does the routing for you. Like I said earlier, ASL, the routing is kind of dictated for you anyway, per the rules. You don't have a lot of control on where they route to. But in this game, it looks like if there's a leader somewhere in the back, away from enemy units, I think it tries to get to that hex where the leader is, from what I can tell and from what I'm read from the manual. Those are, I think, three major differences that I can see. There are some smaller things, like I was able to fire smoke later on in my fire phase than you would have been able to in regular ASL. But there are some minor differences, but all in all, it's probably 90% ASL easily. A lot of the mechanics are the same. A lot of the numbers are the same. It seems to imply that it's using a two six-sided die system based on the percentage of things like rate of fire and leadership modifier and how that influences the outcome. So yeah, very heavily ASL influenced. Um, it's probably a game that a lot of players have been waiting for a long time, and I think the scenario editor is going to add a lot to the game and allow a lot of customization and a lot of true ASL scenarios to be converted to this. Again, could that cause some copyright problems with Hasbro? I don't know, because I'm not sure Hasbro knows ASL exists beyond the licensing it has to do with multi-man publishing once a year or once every 3 years, however often they renew it. That's probably the only time they know ASL exists. So I don't know. It's probably not a problem. It's such a niche type of game, but I think ASL players who are also into playing on the computer or playing computer games might like this as a diversion to playing ASL, playing this on the side. Um, I think there are talks of them adding multiplayer where you will be able to play an opponent, a live opponent on the other end of it. I don't know the status of that, but there are talks of that happening. So yeah, that's Second Front in a nutshell. Just came out today. You can get it for 25 bucks on sale till February 7th. Pretty decent price for what did I say? 48 scenarios, 216 vehicles and guns, 3 nationalities, access to the Steam Workshop, and a full editor to create ASL, or sorry, Second Front scenarios or convert those ASL favorites to Second Front and play them in a 3D, maybe quicker paced environment. A smaller scenario like this probably would take, I mean, I'm just learning, right? All the keystrokes and what all the icons mean. It might take an hour to do this scenario. Um, Playing on Second Front, pretty quick, relative to ASL gameplay. Yeah, so that's it. So I think I'll do a video next time, like I said, to go through the editor and the workshop since I just skimmed over that. So hope you find this useful. This turned out being much longer than I intended, but that's just the way it is. So let me back out of this, go back to the main menu, and see you in Second Front. This is not turning into a Second Front channel, I promise you. This is just a temporary diversion because this is so ASL influenced, obviously. And I thought you viewers would be interested to see what it looks like. So I'll see you next time.